Welcome to First and 30. I'm Nick.
And I'm Antonino.
We're two 30-something-year-old guys who take the best ultimate reality television show in this hemisphere, American football, through four uncensored downs of mostly unbiased opinion and some analysis.
In a game broken down into 10-yard segments, we take it with you one step at a time.
That's First and 30.
Let's go for it.
It's that time. Welcome to the First and 30 podcast. It is I, Nick, and Antonino. You there? How's it going, man?
I am here, and this is the final countdown episode of First and 30.
Just to clarify, this isn't our final episode, but the NFL draft is coming up, so we have a little special treat for everyone out there. What are we going to be getting into, Antonino?
We are going full mock draft season on you guys today. We're giving you all 32 picks, the mock of all mocks in a short 30 minutes. We're going to go through every team and give you the inside scoop with trades, with insider info. We're bringing it to you all right now so you're prepared for the NFL draft next week.
I think this might be a Guinness World Record too, so if you guys want to be a part of history, stay around. We're going to try to do it. This is a lofty goal, Antonino. Can we actually get through 32 teams in now less than probably 28 minutes, I think? I'm looking at a clock here.
Who needs Adam Schefter and those bozos when you have Nick and Antonino on the job? Let's get it done.
Heck yes. All right. I like the enthusiasm, the charisma. So we're not going to do four downs. It's going to be a little different. We're just going to rattle off our picks here every other. We'll save room for you to be able to make your Bengals pick. I'll be able to make my Cowboys pick. Trades are allowed in this mock draft. So without further ado, Antonino, are you going to give me the first pick here? Can I select for the Bears?
I'm going to let you do the honors. Let's get the party started.
Okay. So welcome to the 2024 First and 30 NFL mock draft. And to kick things off, the Chicago Bears are on the clock. And with this selection, the Chicago Bears will take Caleb Williams. Is this a surprise to you or anyone else?
No surprise at all here, but some might be surprised that I think he is going to be a bust.
Okay, that's debatable. I remember we had our conversation a few weeks back, but I think he's a top-tier talent. This is an obvious need for the Bears. They got rid of Justin Fields to pave way for this selection. So Chicago's hyped. The city of Chicago has their franchise quarterback finally. Caleb Williams to the Bears. So let's move on.
With pick number 2, the Washington Commanders are going to select Jaden Daniels, quarterback, LSU. Ooh, this guy will effectively answer all the prayers of Commanders fans all over the world. He's a perfect fit. They already have Mariota there, so he can take his time if he wants. He can back up, come in when the time's right. The betting odds for him to go to the Redskins is at minus 300, so he's the favored, with the second option being Drake May. So Adam Schefter, inside knowledge here, Adam Schefter said you can buy his jersey now. That's how confident he is that the Commanders are going to select Jaden Daniels. I think he's a perfect fit. And I just love the draft because this is like dropping gifts to every team here. And they get 7 rounds. All these teams are going to get good players. Unlike free agency where teams like the Cowboys had no money to spend, everyone's going to get a piece and a shiny new toy here in the NFL draft. So this is so exciting and a perfect pick for the Commanders.
All right. Yeah, I like it. No disputes there. Jaden Daniels goes number 2 to Washington. That means with the third selection in the 2024 First and 30 draft, the New England Patriots will take, according to me, Drake May, quarterback out of North Carolina. We debated this guy a little bit a few episodes back, or last episode. We kind of broke down these players a little bit more in depth. With Drake May, I have some red flags about this guy, but New England shipped off Mac Jones. They have an obvious need at quarterback. I think out of the QBs that are slated to be first-round picks, He's presumably going to be the best on the board here. If we're thinking Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels are gone. So I think New England goes ahead, takes Drake May, the product out of North Carolina, and starts to build their offense around this guy.
Let's move on with the fourth pick of the NFL draft. The Arizona Cardinals select Marvin Harrison Jr. with no surprise. Can anyone name a receiver on the Arizona Cardinals? I'll wait. No.
No. Yeah.
Hollywood Brown just skipped town, so no more Hollywood Brown. I looked at the roster today. Arizona Cardinals have nobody at receiver. So Marvin Harrison Jr., easy pick.
Awesome. Yeah. Kyler Murray's going to need a guy to throw to. I think this is a good selection for them. No disputes there, man. So that leads us to the fifth pick. Right now, we have the LA Chargers on the clock, but I think Adam Schefter's chiming in, Antonino. We have breaking news here. Yes, this is happening. We have a trade to announce in this mock draft. The Minnesota Vikings made a move leading up to the draft, and they were able to acquire an additional first round pick in that trade. So they're going to ship off both first round picks here, a future pick in exchange to move up to the draft with the Chargers to take the fifth pick. And with
Ooh.
that selection, Antonino,
Uh-oh.
are you ready for this?
I hope not. Who could
With
it be?
yep, with the fifth pick in the 2024 draft, the Minnesota Vikings, not the Chargers, will take JJ McCarthy,
Say
quarterback
it ain't so.
out of Michigan. Yeah, I mean, if we're trying to make a realistic draft here, I think Minnesota needs a QB, and we've seen this in the past. Even if this guy is not really a first round talent, if you're a QB needy team and you're a head coach now entering your third year, you're going to make some decisions and swing for the fences and hope that this is the guy that can keep you afloat and keep your job safe. So the Vikings are going to move up. They will take JJ McCarthy since Kirk Cousins is no longer in the picture.
No one can replace Kirk Cousins, not on the field and not in our hearts.
Not at all.
With number 6, the New York Giants will be selecting LSU wide receiver Malik Neighbors.
Wonderful. I love the
So
pick.
so here they are. They're dipping back in the LSU well. You know, they hit big with Odell Beckham a long time ago. Maybe they're trying to strike gold again. Give the quarterback a weapon. You know, they just lost Saquon, who had like almost all the all-purpose yards for that team. So they need an offensive weapon, and he's the second best receiver. It's a good pick.
I couldn't agree with you more. And now, as a Cowboy fan, I'm a little frightened with that because it does give the Giants a formidable weapon on offense. A lot of the blame has been on Jones, but I think Neighbors is an excellent pick here for them at 6. So let's go to 7 now, Antonino. Those Tennessee Titans are on the clock. And with the 7th pick, they're going to go ahead and take offensive tackle Joe Alt out of Notre Dame. He is the consensus best offensive lineman and tackle in this draft. Honestly, he could be in contention for a top 5 pick. I think he has the talent where he could have gone number 1 or 2 if these teams weren't needy at quarterback. So sometimes QBs are going to get the push. We already saw 4 quarterbacks off the board in the first 5 picks. So naturally, Joe Alt's going to fall here and a big, big pick for the Titans. I think Titans fans, you'd be happy if this happens.
That's an excellent pick and a perfect fit. So can't wait to see that. With number 8, we move on to the Dirty Birds of Atlanta, and that is the Falcons, who will be selecting Dallas Turner, edge rusher from Alabama.
Hmm.
So with this one, let me make it clear to you guys. Alabama's always in the SEC championship. And where's that game played? In the Mercedes Superdome. Where is that? In Atlanta. So this guy every year has been playing in Atlanta Stadium. So he's very familiar with the stadium. So might as well just put on the Falcons jersey. They need an edge rusher. He's used to it. Let's just put it in. Falcons, you know what to do.
Love it. I'm not arguing there. So that brings us up to number 9. And look who it is. A familiar team, the Chicago Bears. I had the honor of selecting our guy, Mr. Caleb Williams with the first pick, which means with the 9th pick, the Chicago Bears are going to go ahead and pair him up with a formidable wide receiver, Rome Odunze, and this is your guy, Antonino, wide
Mhm.
receiver out of Washington. You liked his tape. You were cheering for him big time in the national championship game. The Bears are already pretty stout on offense with DJ Moore, and they just went ahead and got Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, aging, he's at the back end of his career. I think they need to think of the future and how they're going to build this team around Williams. Why not go ahead, pair him up with a top flight talent at wide receiver? They would be scary. If they have this guy as well as Allen and DJ Moore on the offense, I think it would be a great pick for them. Roma Dunzier, number 9 to Chicago.
I sure hope you're right. I love the pick, but as they say, Chicago is where wide receivers go to die. So I hope they break that spell and these guys perform. Great pick. With number 10, and here, let's get frisky, everybody.
Hmm.
Number 10, the Jets. Select Brock Bowers, tight end out of Georgia. Aaron
Whoa.
Rodgers, new favorite target for our
Hmm.
boy Aaron Rodgers. The guy is a freak athlete. On X earlier today, he did a backflip. He runs a 4.53 40 time, and he yaks like no one else you've ever seen. And by yak, I mean yards after catch. The dude is a yak specialist. He's a consensus best fit for the Jets right here. Everyone has Brock Bowers going to the Jets. This is going to be so much fun, especially after the Jets whiffed on CJ Uzama when they signed him in free agency from the Bengals, who was a complete bust. Everyone knows my favorite word, bust. He was a bust. So now they got Brock Bowers, who's going to unlock a whole can of worms for Aaron Rodgers. Love to see it.
Antonino, I can only think of the episode like 2 episodes ago where you're like, bust, 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 bust.
Bust.
That's
My favorite word.
It is. Yeah, Brock Bowers, excellent pick. I saw some mock drafts heading in that had him as like a top 5 pick. If it weren't for the fact that all these teams picking in that round were looking for quarterbacks, he also, along with Joe Alt, could be a dude that was in consideration for like number 2, number 3, number 4, somewhere there. So
Mhm.
good pick if the Jets can land him. So we're at 11, and this is where Minnesota would have been selecting. But if you all remember, they went ahead, they traded this pick to move up to grab their guy, JJ McCarthy, at number 5, which means the LA Chargers are picking here. And with the 11th pick, the Chargers are going to go ahead and take wide receiver out of LSU. And no, it's not Malik Neighbors. He's gone already, but Brian Thomas Jr. So if you weren't aware, LSU had 2 first-round talent wide receivers on their roster. This is a little premature compared to where some consensus experts have him going, but the Chargers got rid of both of their top 2 wide receivers. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, they're both gone, which means they have a very inexperienced wide receiver room with Quentin Johnson, who was a first round pick for them a year ago, and Josh Palmer, who had a few injuries last year. So I think with Harbaugh in there, they're going to build around Herbert a little bit more, give him some weapons. I think it would be great if they were able to go ahead and pick up Brian Johnson Jr. That would give Herbert and the Chargers way more firepower, especially now that they probably have one of the worst wide receiver rooms in the NFL.
Yeah, and I like that pick because they have another one coming, mind you, from that trade. So they have another pick in this first round, and it's all about getting your guy. So if they have a high grade on Brian Thomas Jr., so be it. Make the pick. So I like it. So next, number 12, Denver Broncos select Fashanu, offensive tackle from Penn State.
What's his first name?
His first name, I'm gonna
Hey,
Aluminayua. I probably butchered that. Aluminayua
that was pretty
Fashanu.
good. That was
I
pretty
tried.
good.
I really tried. But I figure right here, the Broncos, Russell Wilson was running for his life. You don't want that to happen again this year. So protect your quarterback, offensive tackle. And obviously, we had one offensive tackle go to Tennessee. This is the next best one at the 12th pick. So there's a good slot for it.
All right. Yeah. You can't go wrong with an offensive lineman. It's good to start building around the trenches. That's kind of like roster building 101, I think. So that leads us to another AFC West team with the Las Vegas Raiders selecting with the 13th pick. Drumroll, please. The biggest reach so far in our mock draft. They're going to take a quarterback here, Antonino, and I'm going to have them take Oregon QB Bo Nix.
I
You
love this.
you had high praise for Bo Nix. This is definitely higher than where most people see him falling. Some are saying he might be a late first rounder. Some are saying second or third round pick. But like I said earlier, quarterbacks have inflated value, especially when teams are desperate. And I think the Raiders are desperate. The Jimmy Garoppolo experience didn't work out. They have Aiden O'Connell there as their quarterback slated to start next year. I don't think the new coaching staff or the coaching staff in general with Antonio Pierce are feeling super confident with that. So I think they're going to make a splash pick here and go ahead and take Bo Nix a little bit higher than where he's expected to go. But you love the pick because you love the player and the prospect with Nix, don't you?
I love the player. I think his ceiling, he has no ceiling. This guy could be the best quarterback in this draft. And
Wow.
it all comes down to, again, getting your guy. So if they have a high grade on this guy, move up, do what you got to do, take him early, get your guy. So I like that pick.
Awesome, man. You're up.
Okay, let's do this. So we have a run on offensive tackle. Okay, so on the with the 14th pick, the New Orleans Saints select Talisi Fuaga out of Oregon State, offensive tackle. So we
Hmm.
now have a run on tackles. You had one go 12, we had one go 14. He is a great offensive tackle. You know, they not only are they getting the best player available, it's also a need. So they're getting two birds with one stone here. They just have him drop to and right in their lap. That's the best thing as a team when you have the best player available and he just drops in your lap. So the Saints beef up the offensive line. Great offensive tackle.
All right, like the pick, man, and we're halfway, a little bit close to halfway through. And how are we doing on time? Ooh, okay, we're falling back. I know we're trying to beat this world record here, so we're gonna speed things up on the latter half. But with the 15th pick, Antonino, I am gonna have the Indianapolis Colts selecting Xavier Worthy, wide receiver out of Texas, the guy that had the headlines here in the combine for breaking the 40-yard dash time. I think the Colts, like the Bears, are going to build around their young quarterback and they're going to give Anthony Richardson a deep threat weapon and really bolster the wide receiver room around him so that he has all the opportunity to be successful. Xavier Worthy climbing up draft boards. I would not be surprised to see him fall somewhere here at like 15 to the Colts.
With the 16th pick, the Seattle Seahawks select Terrion Arnold, cornerback from Alabama. So with the Seahawks, this is not your Legion of Boom of old. Their defense was absolutely putrid last year. Move up to this year, they fire the head coach Pete Carroll. They bring in a new head coach who's a specialist on the defensive side of the ball, and he makes this pick just for him here. This is his new toy for his defense. Terrion Arnold dominated at Alabama, played the best of competition. He goes to Seattle. They need the help. It's a perfect pick.
Awesome. I like it. And we're moving on to 17th. Jacksonville Jaguars are picking here. And with this selection, they're going to go ahead and take Kool-Aid McKinstry, the cornerback out of Alabama. I'll be honest with you, man. I'm sending him over to Jacksonville mostly because I think his name is really cool. If you see what I did there, but I also think Jacksonville they're in a need of cornerback. Kool-Aid's one of the better guys of coming out in this draft, and you can't go wrong with an Alabama product. So going with Kool-Aid McKinstry, 17 to Jacksonville, and wow, look who's up at 18. How serendipitous. It's who?
With the 18th pick of the NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Troy Fautanu, offensive tackle out of Washington.
Wow.
This guy is the best pass protector in this class. Yes, you have the other linemen who are great, but this one specifically is the best pass protector available. They protect their guy Joe Burrow, they protect the asset, but keep in mind they could target defensive tackle after losing their big boy at nose tackle. They could pick up Johnny Newton here. They could pick up Byron Murphy here, D tackle out of Texas. So they could go D tackle, but I have them protecting Joe Burrow right here and
Mm,
really improving that offensive line.
big pick, man. Are you happy with that if this ends up playing out for them?
I think they will do cartwheels to the microphone if Troy Fatanu is still here. And there's another good name out here. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's another good offensive tackle that's on the board that I wouldn't be surprised if they pick in JC Latham.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. JC Latham. Let's see. We're at 19. That means the LA Rams are selecting here. And you know what? I'm gonna go a different direction. I'm not gonna give them an offensive tackle, so your guy JC Latham's gonna stick around. But the Rams, they're in need of an edge rusher. Their defense was up and coming last year. They had a few surprising players really stand out, but remember, Aaron Darnold's gone. They're gonna have to generate some pass rush. I think if like Tua Latua, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but he's an edge rusher out of UCLA, one of the top graded edge rushers coming out of this draft. If he falls to them here, I think they take him, bolster up the defense more, try to find some of that pass rush that they're going to miss from Darnold being gone now.
Okay. With the 20th pick, the Pittsburgh Squealers select Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo.
Mm.
Pittsburgh needs a cornerback. They have Patrick Peterson. He's probably like 50 years old by now. They need a cornerback. They have to compete against the best receivers in the league in their division. So come on, let's go. They need a corner. Easy selection.
Best receivers in the league. I guess you're just talking about the Bengals there, but we'll let
Thank you.
that slide. So 21, that means Miami's up. And with the Dolphins, they have a few needs because they lost some guys in free agency. They were able to, they didn't have a lot of spending, but I think here you're going to have to protect Tua. And the best offensive tackle that I have available, and you just mentioned one a few minutes ago, but it's not going to be JC Latham for me here. I think they'll go ahead and take Amarius Mims, offensive tackle out of Georgia. He does have a limited sample size, which might be the knock on him, but dude is gigantic. He's going to protect Tua. They like that zone running scheme there in Miami, so I think he's going to fit into their scheme and their plans. And they're going to be paying Tua here soon too. So makes sense. Invest a first round pick in a guy that's going to protect your star and your studs.
With the 22nd pick, the Philadelphia Eagles, fly, Eagles, fly. Big Eagles contingency listening in. The Philadelphia Eagles select Keon Coleman, wide receiver, Florida
Whoa.
State. And
Whoa.
I'm going against the grain here, and they're selecting the biggest risk reward product. Okay. They just signed Devontae Smith to a new contract. They already have Brown on the opposite side. They already have those two weapons, but hey, they're going to make a three-headed monster right here. The Eagles will have no excuse to put up 400 passing yards each and every single game. So I don't
Hmm.
want to see nothing like we saw in the playoffs last year against Tampa Bay. Eagles, maybe get a three-headed monster here with Keon Coleman.
This is a luxury pick, man. But whatever, I would be happy if they went ahead and did something silly like this. So 23, this also would have been Minnesota, but as we know, they made that big trade to get McCarthy. So with the 23rd selection, that means the Los Angeles Chargers are up and they're going to go ahead and take our guy, JC Latham. We've mentioned him a few times, but he's the offensive tackle out of Alabama. You need to protect Herbert, so he has time to go ahead and throw it to Brian Thomas Jr., the guy that they're going to take at 11. I think bolster up the offensive line, again, protect the assets. Smart pick if Harbaugh is able to get him falling to him at 23.
Very good. And now we got a big pick coming here at 24. I want you to do the honors with this one.
Oh, that's right. It's my Cowboys. Well, I appreciate this, man. You
Mhm.
know what? If this player is available, I will be very excited. So with the 24th pick, Dallas will take Jackson Powers Johnson. He's an offensive center, so center out of Oregon. Dallas needs a center. They lost Tyler Biadasz to free agency because they didn't sign anybody, as we all know. So Jackson Powers Johnson, I think, has that Pro Bowl caliber dog in him, just like our Travis Fredericks of the past. But offensive line is definitely a top priority for Dallas. I was very tempted, though, to take a running back here, but I didn't because I think they're going to have to go offensive line instead of like a luxury pick with going running back, even though that's a need.
I really think you'll like that pick. I've heard a lot of good things about him. I think you'll be happy with that one.
I hope so.
With the 25th pick, the Green Bay Packers, go pack, go. They're going to get the big need filled here, edge rusher. They're going to take Jared Verse out of
Mm.
FSU. He's sliding down the board here. He should go sooner than this. The Packers would be glad to take him. He has a RAS score, an RAS score of 9.6. That basically shows you his athletic composition, how fast he is, how high he can jump, all those things. 9.6 is insane.
Well, 26 pick. This is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, close to home for you right now. So
That's right.
that's right, Antonino. is prospecting new homes in Tampa potentially. So he's down there right now. So for your Buccaneers, I'm going to go ahead and give them a cornerback here out of Clemson, Nate Wiggins. Tampa Bay is losing some guys in free agency. They're going to need to bolster the defense up. I think this is just going to be a natural progression if Nate Wiggins does fall to them. I think he's projected to go a little bit sooner than this, so we'll see. Nate Wiggins, 26 to Tampa.
With the 27th selection of the 2024 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Johnny Newton, defensive tackle out of Illinois. If Johnny Newton makes it to the 27th pick, the Cardinals representative making this pick will literally do backflips, cartwheels, jumping jacks right to that microphone. I don't see Newton falling this far. I really, in my world of worlds, think he probably will go to the Eagles after Fletcher Cox retired.
Yeah.
So I could see that happening for the Eagles. But for the Cardinals, this fills a huge need. It would be a steal at this point in the draft.
Yeah, I agree. It seems like your Keon Coleman pick for the Eagles at 22 is definitely the luxury. If Johnny Newton's in there, they might go that direction. But 28 now, we got Buffalo, the Buffalo Bills picking at 28. And with this selection, they're going to go ahead and take Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver out of Texas, the other Texas wide receiver. So we have two schools representing two wide receiver selections, LSU and Texas, both having their top two guys go in the first round. This is a big need fill pick, I think. Buffalo has lost both of their top targets with Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs being shipped off. So they need a wide receiver. And I think this is a very deep wide receiver class with a lot of top end talent here in the first round. So I think Adonai Mitchell, if he's sitting around here, or really any of these receivers, Buffalo will pull the trigger there.
Good choice. With the 29th pick of the NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions are on the clock, and they select Chop Robinson, edge rusher out of Penn State. And now let me tell you something about Chop, okay? He is named Chop because of his unhinged, maniacal energy as a three-down defender.
What?
Yes, and this is the volcanic burst off the line of scrimmage. And at 6'2", 254, this guy will feel like a volcano coming at you with a 9.72 RAS score. So this guy, Mr. Chop, is going to be maniacal all year long for the Detroit Lions in our mock draft.
Watch out. We got a volcanic eruption happening in Detroit with Chop Robinson. All right, you Ravens fans, if you're listening and you stuck around, hopefully you didn't fast forward to this, but with the 30th pick, the Baltimore Ravens are going to go ahead and take safety out of Iowa, Cooper DeJean. Baltimore needs a safety. I think this is a big upgrade for them. And Ravens fans, let me know. Would you be excited if Cooper DeJean falls to you here at 30? If you even know who he is, I'm sure you're prospecting out there. You already have tabs on all this. You know who you could potentially be getting. So Cooper DeJean, safety out of Iowa, to Baltimore at 30.
Get happy, Ravens fans. He's the best safety in the draft. And after losing Geno Stone to those Bengals, you need all the safety help you can get. With the 31st pick in the NFL draft, the San Francisco 49ers select offensive tackle Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma. Now, Tyler's a great offensive tackle. He kind of slid in our mock here, but after Tyler Guyton, the drop-off in offensive tackle is pretty steep. So San Francisco gets a guy here that can protect Brock Purdy. They have all the weapons around them, so let's just protect Brock Purdy. Select Tyler Guyton here.
Good pick. And rounding us out, and I think we're going to do well in time here with the 32nd selection. The Kansas City Chiefs will also play protector here and take Jordan Morgan, offensive tackle out of Arizona. They're going to protect Mahomes, their biggest asset. Nothing much else to say here. When you're the Chiefs, you won the Super Bowl. Go ahead and bolster the offensive line. They need another tackle. So it makes sense with taking Morgan at 32. But hey, man, we did it. We knocked it out of the park. We got through all 32 picks. Hopefully everybody learned a little bit about these prospects and who might be falling where.
Every team is hoping for that flash in the pan, maybe that quarterback that opens up that Super Bowl window on that cheap salary. So everyone's success, futures, franchise, everything changes here in the next week. I can't wait to see who gets selected. But until then, we'll see you on the next one. The next one is always the best one.
That's right. So thanks for joining us on another episode of the First and 30 podcast. Until next week, Remember, when your number's called, no matter the odds, just go for it.